childish ways. Our daydreams came upon, so where have we gone? No need to move away. We gotta
Welcome. We're back. That song wasn't even supposed to play. I think it was on my queue or something in Spotify, but yeah. Let's see if the audio is good now. Let's put down the music a little bit. All right, I think we're good. We're back. How's everybody doing? Getting ready for the new week. As per usual, a good amount of charts to talk about. We're gonna get started with Bitcoin. Then we're gonna be talking about the stock market, my thoughts on what's up for this coming week in the market, maybe the rest of the month, and just the rest of the year in general. After that, we'll talk about a few tickers I want to bring up: CLOV, Fisker, Apple. I want to talk about Lucid. I want to talk about. We're gonna get to everything, and then eventually, no promises, but I think we'll do ticker requests tonight. I can't remember if we did ticker requests. I don't think we did on Thursday. I think I was really tired, and I'm still very tired, but I'll try and do some ticker requests for everybody. So let's get started with Bitcoin. How far are we from all-time highs right now on Bitcoin? Bitcoin is about 4% away from all-time highs. Just weeks ago, it was like 7. I think last week it was like 17%. It was over 20% like 2 weeks ago, I guess. I mean, not even. Let's see. From this low, just about a week ago, Bitcoin was 20% away from all-time highs. Now Bitcoin's only 4% away from all-time highs. So it's been putting in the work. What do we call this potentially? This little candle formation. Okay, if we look left on the chart, we had a clear resistance here at 59.5K from right over here. Okay, right over here and right over here. So you can see why that level is charted. Okay, we had this resistance here. We broke above it on a very good candle with high volume. It was a 8% day for Bitcoin. We broke above it. What happened after we broke above that resistance from earlier in the year? We back tested it. You had a break, you had a hook. Pretty much this was your hook. You were flipping your resistance into support. You got a kind of like a bullish pin bar. You usually don't see those after runs up. You want to see them after runs down, but you got the same type of candle as a bullish pin bar. So you had a break, you had a hook, and right now you're seeing a go. Okay, so you flipped a pretty real resistance from March and May into support. And again, you've only had 1 day of confirmation. You might need multiple days above that level. But yeah, break, hook, and potentially a go. I mean, the next resistance is just previous all-time highs on Bitcoin. And this happened like, I think, an hour after my stream on Thursday night. But the second target of the Bitcoin trade setup that was shared publicly for everybody has hit for 35% profit in like a few weeks. So that's good to see. At this point, I think the next resistance on Bitcoin is the previous all-time high at like almost 65K. If it breaks that, then you could just go from that previous all-time high to the low over there at 29,000. And then your 1272 extension is going to be 75,000. And then your 1618 is going to be 87.5K. Those would be like the next major levels on Bitcoin. Keep in mind though, the RSI is slightly overbought on the daily, but historically it's gone to much higher on the RSI. So you never know. 59.5K is kind of like your short-term support on Bitcoin. We'll see if altcoins can play some catch up. Maybe if Bitcoin cools off for a little bit and just starts consolidating, maybe they could. I shared a new one today, Dogecoin, new setup. It's might be up a couple percent already. It's already up 2.5% since the entry. Pretty standard, not much divergence on this one, but again, if you zoom out on the chart, you have this general area where you've been finding support at really every single time it's come down here since like June. Even on this day in May, it bounced off that. So you once again bounced right above that area, pretty much right off that area at the end of September. Now you're potentially making a higher low. And then you got pretty close to a bullish bat. It got down to an 84% retrace, not an 88.6% retrace. That's where it decided to bounce. And then with that PCD of this harmonic pattern, you might be developing. It's a little bit scuffed with this wick up here, with this wick down here. I mean, I could just move that to there if I wanted to. With kind of like this inverse head and shoulders structure potentially. And then even on this candle right over here, you got a bullish pin bar. And since then, it's making higher lows on lower time frames if we kind of look at the chart right over here. So that's the idea for Dogecoin. We'll see. Very, very simple chart. And then the stop loss I put on this was just under that bullish pin bar low. I mean, even if it does hit that stop, you have another support like 3 or 4% under it at 19 cents. But yeah, we'll see. Not financial advice. For the targets, the first target was just the top of this big flush red candle. Second one was just the C point of the harmonic, and then the third one was the A point of the harmonic, which they do actually line up with some previous candle highs and lows. Both of them, you really zoom in and stuff. So yeah, that's really the rough idea on Doge. We've had some legendary trades on Doge in the past. I'm sure some of you were here back then. Was this the 3 cent? Where was the 3 cent one? Was it all the way down here? Oh my gosh. What was it? It was this, I think. I think I alerted Doge somewhere around this area, if I'm not mistaken. No, it couldn't have been January. I'm trying to, maybe it was. I don't know. I can't remember. I remember there was something around 3 cents. It might have been this. I can't remember at this point, but yeah. Was that even 3 cents? No, that's not even. All right, I'm confusing myself here. Let's see. That's 13 cents. That is 4 cents. I don't know. Somewhere in that area. Whatever. So if you remember, you remember it. But yeah. It was like 100% profit in like a day or something. It was crazy. In terms of the other altcoin trade, UMA is currently, it's been seeing some resistance around almost $12. Since the entry, it's up about 13%. Just a lot of alts are kind of lagging behind right now. I mean, a lot of them are going crazy at the same time. So it's just kind of like a pick and choose right now for the altcoin market. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's just really cool to see cryptos just doing well. I mean, I got into trading because of crypto. I know I mainly focus on stocks now, but there's a reason why every single night on stream, the first ticker I look at is Bitcoin for literally every stream, like ever, I'm pretty sure. Or most, 90% of them, I don't know. But yeah, good stuff, crypto. Hopefully all the TA there has helped out. Let's talk about stocks. Let me see what's up in the chat before I do that. I know it's a Sunday. Sundays typically are like the slower nights on stream. But I mean, for all of you who do watch the stream on Sundays, how many just gems do I share education-wise? And that's where we find a lot of the potential plays for the week and everything. So I love Sunday streams. Yeah, what's up, everybody in the chat? Yep, the Bitcoin ETF news and everything, and the rumors and the potential, and we'll see what will happen. It's just adoption. That's really how I look at it. Yeah, if you're not in the Discord, chat free, just drop the link in the chat. Make sure to join the Discord. Let's talk about the market, what my thoughts are going into this week, and just for the rest of the year in general. I'm just giving an update on how I'm looking at everything. Hopefully my Wi-Fi is good. I don't know why that chart's taking forever to load. But I know I've been saying this every single night on stream, but again, for education, or I kind of want to boast a little bit, I guess. But since this low over here, it's been pretty spot on. If you've been watching the streams, I spend time covering the market for a reason, right? They affect all these different individual stocks, not all of them, but most of them. And since this, I mean, again, since the whole entire year, I think I've done my best to, I mean, I have been wrong a couple times, but that low, the May low, and yet again, right over here, like since like this kind of drop, I've been spending extra time covering the market because it wasn't just on autopilot like it was over here. So I mean, like literally every single one of these moves we analyzed day by day. Pretty much everything I was talking about kind of played out. And then yet again, you know, last week on Monday, I said I think we're going to see a bounce, which we kind of went a little bit lower on Tuesday, but then on Wednesday we saw a bounce. Then on Wednesday night, I came on the stream and I said I think we're going to keep going up this week. I don't think that we're just going to have a one-day bounce. And well, we went up, and then we went up again. And then I think I did say on Thursday, I think we might see a little bit of an intraday pullback on Friday. We didn't really get that. That did surprise me. You know, if we go over to lower time frames, I mean, historically, when you get at this RSI level on the 1 hour, you get some sort of a pullback. And you just really didn't on Friday. There was even there was like a potential bearish Adam and Eve pattern. This was kind of the Adam and then the Eve, and it just underperformed. It was low time frames, but kind of feels like with like everything changed within 2 or 3 days. And you had a really strong Thursday and Friday. I mean, Thursday was huge, especially for the market. And yeah, what's kind of like the update before I like to do this a lot, but before I kind of look at all the charts and explain everything further, just my general thoughts, you know, back over here on this day on September 20th when I was live, I think that was a Monday. I said, you know, I think we're going to see, you know, a bounce short term for large caps, but I think it's going to underperform. It underperformed. But on that day, I also said I think small caps are going to show relative strength. And we've been seeing that. If we look at the IWM, the Russell 2000, I mean, while the S&P was kind of correcting, the IWM wasn't necessarily going up, but it was going sideways, which is better than correcting. And then, yeah, I got bullish again over here. You had some really oversold low time frames. You ended up breaking back above 40. Once we gapped up above 43.70 on Thursday, I was like, all right, this is really good, because not only were we gapping up on last Thursday, we also broke out of this descending broadening wedge and the inverse head and shoulders, right? So it was a very strong open on Thursday, and then we got some fall through on Friday. So in terms of my thoughts for the overall market, it's hard for me to say like short term I'm bullish when, again, on low time frames, again, I was using low time frames to look for the lows over here, and over here. But at the same time, on low time frames, you have bearish divergence. You are overbought on the RSI. Historically, every single time you get overbought on the 1 hour RSI, you should see a pullback. Sometimes it's like the most miniature pullback ever, and then you just go higher when you reset the oscillators. But it's tough, after a 3% rally in literally 3 days, like it's tough to say, all right, we're going to keep going tomorrow and the day after. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's the end of the world if we have a pullback tomorrow or on Tuesday or both days. Like, now that we're above 43.70, I could care less if we dropped all the way back down to 43.70 and then use it as support. Like, short term, I don't even care enough to try and predict what's happening tomorrow and Tuesday. I know I've tried to do my best with that in the last few weeks, but at this point, it's like, whatever happens, happens. As long as we're back above 43.70 and we can hold it, I wouldn't mind a pullback. At the same time, obviously, I wouldn't mind if the market just goes higher. Like, for me, I'm very, very open-minded going into tomorrow and Tuesday in general. But in terms of like the variables that are appearing, like, I don't know. Now that we're back above these levels, I mean, small caps are pretty close. I mean, you didn't really get the breakout for the Russell on Friday, but it's very easy for small caps to break out. I mean, there's still a lot of small caps that are not participating in any sort of rally since literally like February. They've just been selling off, even some mid caps and SPACs. So it's hard, but I don't know. I just think still we're coming into an earnings season. I think back in like the end of April, we saw a rally on a lot of different let's see. So actually, no, we sold off in April, and then we had earnings, I believe, back in May. And then we rallied off of earnings, I think, for large apps. And then July as well. I think we had earnings towards the middle of July, if I'm not mistaken. Like middle of July to like August. We rallied after that. So kind of from the previous 2 earnings seasons, we kind of saw rallies afterwards. So now we're heading into new earnings. I mean, there are some stocks that are down from their highs, right? If we look at something like Apple, I'm going to explain this a little bit further. If we look at something like ROKU, there's a lot of large cap tech stocks that they've retraced pretty well off their highs, and these are the safe names to a lot of different blue chip investors, right? I don't know what Microsoft's at right now, but we can take a look. It's already rallied back to all-time highs. About Amazon, I know Tesla's been rallying too. Amazon, it's back in this big range. It's actually looking really interesting. Wow, let me actually keep this on my chart. We're going to come back to that Amazon chart later. But like in general, I'm just interested to see how earnings go. I mean, I'm optimistic going into earnings in general, not for everything, obviously, but just as a whole. And then I think mid-November or mid-December is when tapering could start potentially, according to last Wednesday. And we'll see. I don't know if it's a 6-month period, but whatever it is, it could be. I mean, we've been knowing about the potential of tapering being within the next 2 months for the last like 3 or 4 months, right? So it is what it is. We'll see how we react when we're there. So that's just my thoughts on the overall market. But in terms of technicals for the S&P 500, you could get a bearish cipher if you reject that 44.91. It's not at the 78% retrace yet. It's at the 70% retrace, so it's not all the way there. Even that 44.91 on the S&P lines up with a couple lows and highs if you really zoom in. It's not the biggest level, but I'd be interested to see if we did show like a shooting star candle up there. The 4-hour RSI got overbought, and then maybe, we could maybe fill this gap. And there's still a gap. I mean, this is such a big area. You have a gap fill and a huge level at 43.70. As long as we stay above that, it's still fine. But again, there's Come on. All right, that's not working. Let's try this. There's still like 2% downside just to get there. And that might even be, let's say you do go up to 44.91 and you come back down. That would also be close to your golden retrace as well. It would be in the golden zone. It's like literally right in the golden zone. So that's like a pretty interesting area. So you have that. I mean, again, it could just go back to autopilot mode again and just break to a new all-time high within the next few weeks. You never know. I just want to see how the market reacts once we get there. In terms of the NASDAQ, you're testing this resistance back from the beginning of August. We'll see if we can break it in the next few days. If we do, then there could be room up to 15,000 to test that. Russell 2000, you have a gap fill at 222.6. We'll see if that fills. If not, on the daily, you're on the cusp of a breakout for small caps. I honestly think a breakout of this structure sends you to a new all-time high if you can confirm it. And then ARC ETF, gap fill at 113.52, which is also a support. That's what you want to be watching for support if we do pull back. If we keep going higher, I'd probably just use Fibonacci on this rally back up. Your 618's around a little bit under 119. So we're just in an interesting area. I mean, anything could happen. You never know. I know I'm a little bit more 50-50 compared to what I've been the last few weeks, kind of, you know, being a little bit more direct. But right now, it's just there's mixed variables in general. So yeah, for the most part, that's my thoughts. The VIX went all the way back down to support at 16.2. Yeah, it kind of got shot back down. This is good to see. I mean, you did get a kind of bullish pin bar off of a support level on Friday, but what I've been saying for the last 2 weeks, you want to see a lower low on the VIX. You're getting that. You have your first lower low. I mean, really since like September, like the beginning of September, when the market was kind of topping out. And then the US 10-year pulled back off that resistance or super technical, and then you kind of bounced. I don't know, that's 50-50 as well. Just, again, I always talk about you have to learn how to adapt. I mean, you can try to predict the future every single day, but just learn how to react, right? You can't know the future, so you got to know how to react to how the market's moving, all right? So that's my thoughts on the overall market. Let me see what's up in the chat, and then we'll talk CLOV, Fisker, Apple, Lucid, Amazon, and then maybe take requests. All right. Also, I want to see 35 likes ASAP. Seeing a few very direct questions in the chat, whether something will go up or down or whatnot. Again, I'm not really here to predict what's going to happen tomorrow or the day after. Again, I try to use probabilities, but for me, it's not about trying to predict the next move or call the next move. For me, it's about seeing the potential variables to both sides and then seeing how I can play it if one side confirms. And if that sounds confusing and just boring to you, watch the course. Take out 3.5 hours and you'll get a much better understanding about how I look at trading and how many other people look at trading. So that's why I don't really answer, direct questions. Is Doge going to go to $3 next week? Like, it would be cool if it did, but I'm not trying to call things like that. That's just how I look at things. All right. Still a few likes shy of 35 likes. I don't know what's going on. It is a Sunday, I guess. We're not doing take requests just yet for everybody requesting takers in the chat. All right, so let's talk about CLOV. I'm gonna start off with the bad. There is some bad right now on the chart. Again, like I've said every single night on stream, I'm just gonna tell you what's on the chart. So yeah, I like CLOV fundamentally, but there is some bad on the chart right now. There's also some good. We'll get into it right now. So again, just because you have bad on a chart or good on the chart doesn't mean the chart's going to go up or down. It's just a variable. But on the daily, this is really the only bad variable I can find in general. But on the daily, not the best candle pattern. So like prior to this red candle, you had this little bit of confusion, at least for me. I don't know if anybody knows the answer. I asked about it last stream, but nobody really answered me. So you had kind of like this shooting star candle formation, but at the same time, it was a bullish engulfing candle because it engulfed the candle body prior to it. So it was kind of weird. So I was just waiting to see. I said this on Thursday night. I was waiting to see what the next candle would look like for a little bit more confirmation. Fortunately, your next candle was a bearish engulfing candle. So if we're going to be looking at the candle patterns on the daily, that's not good. that is a bearish engulfing candle. That's not me trying to spread FUD. That's a fact. You can go look it up in your TA textbooks. But yeah, you have that. Again, it's not the end of the world. There's still other variables. But we'll just kind of finish talking about the daily, and then we'll go over to the 4-hour. On the daily, still have classic bullish divergence playing out. I mean, it could be over. You never know if price does fall again, but you're on a wave of confirmed classic bullish divergence. You have just one day of waning positive momentum. I mean, who knows if it turns into something like this or something like this. Like, again, MACD can go back up. It's a lagging indicator. Daily is kind of very simple. I mean, you're in between levels. I think 750 is like your closest support, and in terms of resistance, off the top of my head, you got 888 ish, then you got $9.10, then you got 945, which I have charted, then you got 11 something, 1115, then you got 1320, which I have charted as well, and then you have 17. I don't think I have that charted. Oh, I do. So yeah, I remember those off the top of my head at this point. But yeah, daily is just kind of there's really not much of a signal on the daily. The signal was down over here, and we talked about it as it was happening. On the 4-hour though, some premium members brought this up on Friday. Again, you don't really have bearish divergence, but you are losing some positive momentum. But here, look at this. Potential inverse head and shoulders is not the cleanest structure. But on the 4-hour, it could be argued. I think there could be an argument again. It still has to break the neckline. I choose to use this as my neckline, this 812 to 820 resistance area. Just if you zoom into lower time frames, you've just seen a ton of resistance in this general area at 812, and then even at 820ish. If I chart that on the 1-hour, you can kind of see it. Look at these candle opens and closes, candle opens and closes. So 812 to 820 is kind of the resistance short term. If it breaks above it, I think you would have a breakout of an inverse head and shoulders. Let's see what the measured move of this would be if it does break out. Again, it's not even a confirmed pattern yet, but it would kind of bring you back up to this resistance area, the measured move, back up to like this mid $9 level from this high, this candle high, a few candle highs over here. So that's kind of the measured move. Now again, it's only a potential pattern. So, and I know a lot of people hate when people say it's going to go up or down. That's honestly the truth. It's going to go up. I mean, maybe go sideways, but you know, if this potential inverse head and shoulders does play out and you end up breaking the neckline, again, a lot of people draw stuff like this on their charts to say, all right, the price is going to go up till here, then it's going to pull back, then it's going to go up again, then it's going to go like, I'm not drawing this to literally try and predict every single pivot. I'm just using it as a visual. I want to see what it looks like once it gets to certain prices. But yeah, if you do break out of this inverse head and shoulders, I think a move back up towards the mid $9 range could be possible. Again, it might not look exactly like this. I'm just using that for a visual. But yeah, if you break out of this for real, sure, you can get a move back up to that area, and then maybe once we get there, we'll see what it looks like up there. Flip side, if this doesn't play out and you break under 780 tomorrow, I think there could be a move back down to 756. That's just like your next support. I mean, it's kind of lining up with this low, which I think was 740 on the 19th. That was the Wyckoff spring. But even if you zoom in again on lower time frames, you can see that 750 level was kind of your resistance over here. It was even a low over here. So I just have it charted as this white line on my 4-hour. So again, yeah, up, down, or sideways. Super cool prediction. But again, it's not about trying to predict every single thing. It's just about if something does happen, what could be the following reaction after that, right? You're trying to use variables to see confirmation. And yeah, so you do have that bearish engulfing candle on the daily, but you also have a bullish pin bar on the 4-hour. So again, you have contradicting variables. The 1-hour is really not much to talk about. I mean, this is like your support short term. That's why I said 780. It's just kind of in this range, honestly. I think I've already charted all my lower time frames, but you're just kind of in a range, right? If you go to lower time frames between like 780 and 820. Yeah, so I've charted out. You're just in a range right now. Apart from like the news from the Walgreens stuff, it's just been in this range since October 8th. All right. So it's not the craziest thing in the world. Nice 30-minute chart, honestly. I like this green candle over here. Nice defining candle on good volume to close out the week. Broke a supply line. 30-minute looks nice, but again, you got to look at what futures look like. It could just flush at the open, which I think it did do on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, and then the 2-day chart, again, I'm just using this as a visual. It pretty much looks the same. I mean, there's not much of a difference there. And then last thing, I'm not going to look at the options data. I really don't think it changed that much, so I'm not going to look at that tonight. But last thing, moving averages, we can take a look at the EMAs. You're trying to use this as support, right? So you broke above, I think it's the 5, 10, and 20. The blue, yellow, and red lines, you could see those EMAs. You broke above them on this really good day on the October 8th. And just since you broke above them, you've been using them as support. So I would like to see CLOV hold these EMAs this week. It would be nice to see that. I mean, look at it over here. Same thing happened. You broke above it on an impulse candle. You started regarding those EMAs as support, and then you went higher. Let's see if we can find another good example. Kind of over here. You broke above it. You spent only 2 days using them, and then you went higher. That's really all I could see, honestly. I don't want to kind of make stuff up. So yeah, it's just back testing a little bit. We'll see. But yeah, that's really CLOV. The weekly, there's not much to speak about either. Yeah, you had a bullish engulfing candle last week. Technically, you did have 1% of fall through price action this week, but also it's not the best looking upper wick on that candle. I don't know. This was the last time you had a bullish engulfing candle. You had another really good green candle afterwards, which you didn't get this time. So that's CLOV. We'll see what's up this week. Let's talk about Fisker, then Apple, then Lucid, then Amazon. All right. Fisker, rough day on Friday. Unfortunately, third day in a row, it kind of rejected the mid $14 level with another bearish engulfing candle on the daily. Hopefully this MACD island can stay in the green this week, but another red day tomorrow might take the MACD island back over to red. However, you do have your first potential higher low that Fisker has seen like really since July, potential higher low off the PCZ of a bullish Gartley, so that's good. 4-hour chart, losing a little bit of momentum, but when you go over the lower time frames, then you have a potential 3 rising valleys on the 1 hour. Again, you'd really have to pretty much hold Friday's low tomorrow. So like a green date for Fisker tomorrow would be great. I'd love to see that. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I really would like to see that. I like the higher lows that it's trying to develop. Maybe even get a 1 hour hit in bullish divergence. You can hold this higher, or really if you can just make a high low above 1350. So yeah, I mean, that's really it for Fisker. Kind of had this 0.5% flush at the close on Friday, which wasn't the best, but in general, I just like to see Fisker hold above 14. I know it's a very small room for error, but hopefully you can do it. I guess we'll see this week. Really simple. Next up, we got Apple. Decided to just throw us on my charts. I don't have to go to Twitter to look at it. Tomorrow, Apple event, 1 p.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how that affects things. If they do at all, I don't know what they're going to be. I've seen some rumors about MacBooks or just Macs. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. But look at the chart on Apple, though. I mean, a little bit of like a dragon formation here. Or just in general, you broke out of a structure, however you want to kind of fit this structure. Broke out of a structure, back tested it, put in a bullish pin bar right over here. MACD switched over to green. If it gets back above this 145 level on Apple, I think there's room back up to 150. I mean, look, you get back above this level, next resistance is 150. So, I mean, look at that level. It's your previous all-time high from January. You're just testing it. If Apple can break above this could not only be good for Apple itself, potentially this week, but also just for the market. It holds a lot of weighting in a lot of important indices, right? So nice structures on Apple. Hopefully the event tomorrow doesn't ruin technicals and everything, but I would love to see a break above 145. That can make for some nice day trades this week. So Apple's kind of at the top of my day trading watch list for the week and tomorrow, but I don't know if I want to play it during the event. I might wait till after, because you never know with how people react to Apple events. But yeah, just want to bring that up. Another chart I want to bring up. I was scanning for premium members. Look at Lucid. We talked about this up over here, but it never really broke out. Just kind of an update on this. Still could have just broken out of this cup and handle. I think it made just about a 50%. Maybe actually it looks like it made less than a 50%. So actually no, literally tapped the 50% retrace, bounced off of it. I mean, even if you take away the cupping part, broke out of a wedge. We have hidden bullish divergence pretty much on the 4-hour chart. I mean, as long as Lucid can hold 22, I think there's move back up to 28 potentially in the next, I don't know, I don't even want to put a time frame on it. So, but I mean, just look at it like this, right? It's to reward to risk pretty much. But yeah, just another interesting chart I'm looking at going into this week. Not financial advice. And then we just looked at Amazon randomly. Looks very similar to Apple. That's all I really wanted to say. Look at that. That's just a nice looking chart if it can confirm. I don't know if it's going to confirm. Even the volume was nice on Friday. Could fill this gap at 34.48 short term. Maybe retest the top of this range at 35.50. And then there's even a gap at 35.78. Pretty nice stuff there as well. So a lot of these large cap charts not looking bad. Let me just add Amazon to my watch list. And then we are also talking about ROKU. Maybe broke out of this wedge, and there's a couple harmonics here potentially. ROKU can really confirm back above this 325 level from this low and this low and this resistance. Could be measure moves up as well. So interesting charts for large caps, but just got to remember you just had 2 huge days for the market, right? In general, this isn't something else I wanted to talk about. We could just talk about the chart in general. I tweeted this out and shared in Discord, but look at this. Another interesting chart I found scanning. Kind of potentially breaking out of this downsloping channel with the double bottom off of a historical area. But also for a little bit of mini stream education. I shared this on Twitter. You might see these boxes on my swing trades. Again, not financial advice. They're just reward to risk. But yeah, just to kind of summarize it for new people in the stream. Where the red and the green meet is, like, again, the potential entry. On the top of each green box is the potential targets, and then the bottom of the red boxes are the potential stop losses. Again, you can do whatever you want. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. You make your own trades. I'm just sharing how I look at charts. But just for some education, how do I find stop losses? Again, this is just a very basic look at it. There's going to be a lot of other factors like Fibonacci and bearish divergence and measured moves of patterns. But just in general, on a lot of my trades, I look for previous pivot areas, right? So you can see this thing just double bottomed off of 360-ish, right? If we look in the past, you had a bottom there in March, and then you had a gap up there in November, okay? Even if you really zoom in, there's a couple of days where we had resistance at this level and support. So the stop loss is just inches below that level, right? This low over here and the double bottom, right? Now my targets, I look left on the chart and I find the pivot areas to the left. So this first area, you could see it was resistance over here and resistance over here. So I threw my target slightly under it. Next resistance. Look, there was a little bit of support here at 537 for like a week. That's really it. Go up, look left. Look at this support back from 2019. Put the target right under that. So that's really, it's not that difficult. There's, there might be some new people in the stream. I just want to share how I look for stops and targets again. Sometimes I use different things than just pivot points, but you really want to be zooming out on your charts and looking left for the highs and the lows, and you can, quite often see a previous resistance act as a resistance or a support, and then vice versa, previous support act as a support or as a resistance, right? So just in case you missed the tweet or the post I made in Discord, this might clear a lot of confusion for a lot of newer members in the FTM and whatnot. So yeah, just wanted to share this as well. If you want to take a screenshot, go for it, just so you can help yourself learn. And that's the majority of what I wanted to talk about. We could quickly go over the ongoing trades as well. We already talked about Fisker VIPS. Really not much to update. You're still gaining positive momentum on the daily. It's just going sideways. And again, it's a weekly chart. That's really what's in play here. It could take a long time. It can go up, it can go down. It just matters. All that matters is where it ends up. Look, it hit the 88% retrace from X to D, the 2618 from B to D. Perfect bullish bat on the weekly. ECZ lines up with a historical area, just like we talked about on that last chart. It's a nice chart, but again, there's no certainty it's going to play out. NEO, however, on Friday broke out. It broke out of this 3667 level, which was a resistance since like September 21st. And even if we extend this, look at that. What was once a support flipped into a resistance. We just talked about that. So you could see that in real time. Good day on NEO, nice gap up. Next gap fill is at 4069. You also have a lower gap fill at around 3640. Good breakout for NEO. Another stock that broke out on Friday was Trip. Take a look over here. Broke out like this 3730 level. Even if you go over to the 4-hour, you could look at even like this, like an ascending triangle almost. Right, but it broke out of a little bit of a resistance on Trip, which is good. Just want to give an update on those two. There's a gap fill like literally right under at 37.40, but highest candle close since like I think August 5th. So good updates on those two swings. PBR good. Hopefully that this hidden bearish divergence can get unconfirmed. It's not even confirmed, but it could just get invalidated. All that needs to happen is PBR needs to break above 1130, and it broke out of the wedge and the cup. Like good stuff there as well. Just good technicals right now on the swings. We'll see if they can hold up, and then forward we'll see if we can get to that third target. That's really the next resistance, but it is slightly overbought on the daily at this point and already hit 2 targets. So we'll see. That's pretty much my recap for everything. Bitcoin even going a little bit higher during the stream. Look at all those candles. I mean, look at that, pretty close to a tweezer bottom as well over here. Is that actually a tweezer? Yeah, pretty much a tweezer bottom on the 1 hour chart for Bitcoin, 4 hour pin bar. Nice. Even technically like a bullish engulfing on that pin bar too. So just candle patterns playing out for right now on Bitcoin. And yeah, futures are still flat. And that's a recap for the day. Let me see what's up in the chat. If you didn't hit the like button already, make sure to hit that like button. There's not much in the chat. I don't know. But yeah, we can do take requests now for like 20 minutes, I guess. If you want me to look at ticker, drop it in the chat. Don't request any OTCs. Don't request anything at IPL within the last month. And don't request anything up over 30% on Friday. And remember, nothing I say is financial advice. All right. Remember, if you ever wanted like an immediate ticket request, it's just $3. That's it. Even like if I'm talking about the market or CLOV or Fisker, if you're busy, you can only be in the stream for a few minutes and you really want me to look at a chart, $3 tip. And yeah, just for people that didn't know, it's in the description. All right, we can get started with these. AMD broke out of a supply line, back tested, set supply line with classic bullish divergence on the daily, and it went nuts. Even on the 1 hour chart, there was a cup and handle. If you're a premium member, 460% potential profit off of this. We played calls on AMD last week. I sold it too early. I sold at like a 50% gain, which I guess I shouldn't be complaining about. But when the calls ran almost 500% in like 3 days, like, have to pinch myself a little bit there. But yeah, it broke out. I mean, maybe a little bit of bearish divergence on the 1 hour RSI now. Made a lower high on the RSI with a higher high on price. Supports 109.2, resistance is 114.49. Those are your levels. It's just it's already been going crazy. I don't know if it'll keep going crazy or not. DraftKings is out of support. Hopefully you can hold it. 47.5. It was a support back from July. You do have some potential confirmed hidden bullish divergence on the day that's not doing much. It's all about holding 47.5 on DraftKings. That's it. Next resistance is 52.75. That supports breaks. If that support breaks, 46.2 could be next. Again, that's not a certainty. FUBO testing 200-day moving average. Break above could send it to 30.75. If it rejects it, next support's 24.83. Just a lot of these charts right now. I know I'm just going through them very quickly. They're just kind of in between levels, so I don't know which level they're going to be going to next. I'm just giving you the levels and then maybe look for lower time frame confirmation. Nice rounding action on FUBO on the 4 hour though. NVIDIA hidden bullish divergence on the daily. Kind of had a weird back test of a previous all-time high to get a lot lower than it eventually broke back above. It's just closed at a gap fill on Friday. I'd say next resistance is like 225-ish, and then supports your gap fill around like 210. Like 208 to 210 is a nice support. Previous all-time high and a gap fill. And you do have some hidden bullish divergence. That's really it. RIOT and Mara I mean, Bitcoin's near all-time highs. RIOT and MARA have vastly underperformed in the last month. I mean, you can look, I already did this last week off stream, but you can look at the previous runs on Bitcoin. RIOT and MARA went right with it. On this run, I mean, all right, let's just do it this way, okay? The last time that Bitcoin went from 30K to 60K, Bitcoin doubled. What happened to RIOT and MARA? Let me just go confirm those dates 1 second. End of January to middle of April, okay? End of January, really to February. I mean, RIOT went up 320%, and then MARA went up 270%. This time around, RIOT's gone up like 14%. MARA has been running, not 300% like over here, I guess, but it certainly has been running it's just outperforming RIOT a lot right now, which is interesting to me. RIOT had a really good volume day on Friday. I mean, it's like the highest volume since like May. I don't know what's up with RIOT. It's just kind of being weird. It definitely could be because of China bans. Yeah, that's a good point. That's the difference compared to last time. So from a technical standpoint, I mean, MARA, great day on Friday. Small gap fill around 45 bucks. Next resistance I see is 54. That's it. I mean, next support, next resistance I see is 54, and then support I see is like 45. All right, so those are kind of your levels right now on MARA. And then RIOT supports 24.85. Next resistance is the 200-day moving average at almost 35.5. BBIG, we talked about this. We talked about it down over here. Hidden bullish divergence and a wedge. We talked about it. There you go. It's probably near the golden retrace. It hit the 50%. Show them a little resistance there. Golden retrace perfectly lines up with the resistance at 954 and a gap fill. That's your next resistance. Support 766. That simple. But these were the areas where a technical trader sees an edge. Now it's in between levels. IVR getting close to that gap fill at 332. Supports $3. If it breaks above 332, could probably make a move to 358, and then a gap fill at 386. If it can't break above 332, could retest 302. That's simple. AGC testing resistance at 11.06. If it breaks above, I mean, then you pretty much got $12 as your next resistance. If it can't break above, your supports are $10.25 to $10, pretty much. Huge days on Thursday and Friday though. Yeah, highest candle close since like August for AGC. SAM trend is not your friend right now. It is near level though. 499.5 was a support from June of 2020. It was your support in the beginning of this month. Oh, look, it was even your resistance in the beginning of May of 2020. So this is what we talked about earlier. Previous levels can act as levels in the present or the future. Major gap fill up to like 929, but again, it's just being super weird. Nah. I don't know. That's really all I got for this one. It says earnings are on the 21st. If that's true, then look out for that. Disney is just in a range. Anything in between like 167 and like 191 is just very neutral to me. Of course, there could be nice trades within that range. And then even within that range, there's a smaller range from like 170 to like 180. So it's just a range bound asset for right now, in my opinion. It's been in a range since April. Palantir. This was a good premium trade. Your support in the short term is 23.03. And then resistance is like $25. That's your 200-day moving average. If you break that, then you got 27.50 from this high and this high. I don't really see many other variables to be talking about right now. XELA, we talked about this chart last week. Somebody requested in the chat. We got confirmed classic bullish divergence and a breakout of a falling wedge, but a lingering gap fill around 150-ish. I don't know. There wasn't that gap fill. I mean, still, I don't even know if it put out a swing. I don't like sharing like penny stocks as swings and everything, but it's an interesting chart. We'll see. I'm just interested to see how it plays out. And then Facebook, breakout of a descending broadening wedge, back test of a descending broadening wedge after a bullish pin bar off the 200-day moving average. I like Facebook's chart here. I just want to see a hold 315, previous high from April, even a resistance in May. 315, I like Facebook above 315. If it breaks it, then I think there's room back down to 300 from this high, this low, and this low. But yeah, very simple on Facebook. Next resistance is 337.5 from these highs and this candle high. All right. Keep hitting that like button if you're enjoying my fast speaking technical analysis. Fuel cells in a range between $5.77 and $8, whichever way it breaks could be telling. The context of that is pretty much around the PCC of a scuffed bullish bat. It's not textbook. B to C point was shallow, and then even the B point was a little bit under the 50% retrace, but we went down to roughly an 88% retrace from X to D and roughly a 2.618 from B to D, so nice Fibonacci confluence there. It's just in a range. We'll see. If it breaks this range, could make a move up to $11. If it breaks under this range, could make a move down to $3.39. Those are just your next levels, right? So those are all your levels on the chart. SOFI broke out. We talked about it. It broke out on the highest volume ever. It even back tested the breakout on the 200-day moving average. Next resistance is $21, but support 17.81. You're right in between them. There's not really an edge on the oscillators. I could see it going either way short term. We'll see. But the edge was like the breakout or even down here. I know Mehdi was talking about it a ton. Wish breaking out of this falling wedge. Just not doing much since. Just going sideways. Do have classic bullish divergence. It's not really doing much. Supports previous all-time low at 461. Resistance is like 550-ish. Really like 537 to be more precise. SDC, I also think this is just, it's not like a real range, but between 466 and 736 is kind of neutral. I know there could be trades within that range itself, but like in terms of like the daily perspective, just a little bit neutral in this area. A break above 736 could take it to $9, but it would have to get there first. CIDM. This is a previous resistance, $2 from March of 2019. Potential hidden bullish divergence if the MACD crosses back over to green on the MACD and on the RSI. Maybe even a potential bull flag on the 4-hour. And then also, yeah, it's a nice 4-hour chart. You have hidden bullish divergence as well. So I would just like to see it hold above $2. And again, you never know if it wants to do this before eventually breaking out. But like, I don't know. We got a day one in the chat right now. I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, but Narissa, NRSSA. Day one in the chat. AREC. 252 is resistance. After that, 288. Major double bottom support was 180. Yeah, just a lot of these charts, all I can really do is give you levels. I don't really see too many patterns and stuff. I mean, maybe you call this like an ascending triangle as well, but you just want to hold that demand line. This is in a range between, look at this 249 resistance was a low over here and a low over here. We talked about this earlier. Look left on your charts. You're going to see a lot of confluence a lot of the time. Yeah, this is definitely in a range between 185 and 250. So whichever way it breaks could be telling you do have a little bit of classic bullish divergence on the daily MACD and RSI. We'll see if it plays out. And that's about that on CALA. All right. Dogecoin moving a little bit. Look at that V-shaped recovery. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the support, everybody. Thank you for watching the stream. I think we're gonna end it here. Covered a lot tonight in like 50 minutes. So thank you for all the support. If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. All right, the link is in the description. So much value there in education, and everything is in the Discord when I'm not streaming. So if you're not in it, you're just missing out. Hit the subscribe button. Subs have unfortunately been pretty, the growth has been a little bit meh lately, so I don't know. But if you're not subscribed, help us get back on our growth trajectory. I can't even say that word. And what else? If you want to join premium, that's always the first link in the description. If not, that's cool. You don't know what premium is? Click on the first link in the description and click on the overview link within that link. Does that make sense? Go to the premium page, and then at the top of the page, there's a video you can watch that explains it further. All links are in the description. Thank you for all the support. I'll be live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. EST, most likely. And I'll see you all in the Discord tomorrow. Good luck trading this week. Hopefully you learned from the stream. And peace out.
You think of money?
I also think of you. Very often. How nice it would be for us to see each other all the time. Not just a few hours each week.
Oh, you can be cruel when you want to be.
I know what I want, and I'd take it when I want it. I ought to realize that by now.
Well, I'll try.
Get into the front seat, George. Stop the car, you fool. It's finished. The rest is easy.